What's up, guys? American Abroad here. I know it has been a while since I've brought a video to you guys. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I had a baby. She's almost 2 now. Time just flies, but I'm loving it. It's been an incredible adventure. I still get to ride quite a bit. I just haven't been making videos as much, or kind of at all. But I got an opportunity. I was at my mechanic the other day replacing the battery in my GS, and he was like, hey, he sells these Zontes bikes. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Zontes. And this one's not on the market yet officially. It is coming out next week for sale. So he had one of these in his shop, and he was like, hey, come test it. So I was like, yeah, I'll come out, I'll test it. It'll be an opportunity for me to start making some videos again. This is the ZONTES 703F. Pretty cool looking bike. It's definitely different, right? Definitely different. I'll show you a video actually. This all lights up in the dark. All this white here actually is a light. So in the night, it looks pretty sick. Kind of a KTM looking front end, like it's, kind of as far as it's real flat up front. I do think the best looking bike on the market at the moment is the KTM. I'm a huge GS fanboy, but lately, I'm just not a huge fan of the new model. That new engine, incredible, but I think KTM's new Super Adventures, the 1290s, are just absolutely gorgeous. Anyways, this is a pretty cool looking bike though. I am going to flip the camera around now. So really funny, I had to stop recording. This guy in this car driving away just pulled over, and he was like, hey, he was speaking Portuguese, of course. So I struggled through with my Portuguese, and he was like, man, that bike looks really cool. And then he started speaking English because he noticed my Portuguese wasn't that good. But he was like, oh, cool bike. He was like, oh, is it Chinese? So he knew it was Chinese right off the bat, but he's like, yeah, it looks really cool. It seems new and it looks nice. So he was asking me about the power, but just cool to see that other people are looking at it as they drive by. Dudes think that bikes make them look cool to girls. They don't. Other dudes like other dudes' bikes. Like, it's only dudes that stop and comment on motorcycles, okay? So if you're getting into motorcycles for the women, you're getting into the wrong sport, okay? Most of the people that are gonna stop and talk about your bike are other dudes. So just a little side note for you. This is a chain drive. I'm much partial to the shaft drive, but this feels pretty good. I will say the throttle is a bit jerky. I'm gonna go for a ride, and we'll go through all that. We'll go through how it rides, but I'm just gonna go through kind of some of the cosmetics and features right now. 21-inch front wheel. They do have Michelin tires on here, and it looks nice, man. This is Marzocchi. It's an Italian brand that does the forks. I was looking them up the other day. It seems like they do a lot of, forks for like cross-country bicycles and stuff. I don't know how many motorcycles they've done, but anyways, there you go. At least they've been around for a while. Some cool features. The engine looks pretty nice, Looks pretty good. You got a standard, guard down here. Looks pretty good. Nothing crazy, but it seems to cover everything. That's nice. Yeah, that's really nice. One thing I will say, this is pretty cool that for $8 grand you're getting a keyless entry, right? Keyless. Let me see. No. Oh, there it goes. So you have to click the power button to access this. It's keyless as well. All right, so checking out this TFT. All right, so another great feature on this, for $8 grand, you're getting a TFT. That's insane. So here's some cool features. You can actually change how the screen is laid out. You have several different settings on what you want the screen to look like. You have DVR. This bike has cameras in the front and the back standard, so you can actually be recording and transfer that info to your phone. Here's a cool ride mode. You can actually have maps mirrored from your phone onto the TFT, which is something I wish BMW did, but it's a cool feature here on a bike for $8 grand that you're getting all of this integration with your phone and different views for, what you want the TFT to look like. Of course, you can see the reflections. Here's the code that you would scan to link your phone. You can see the reflection of me is pretty bad, but man, TFT for $8 grand, that is a steal of a deal. Gotta hold this to turn it off. Power button. All right. Something that's kind of cool is once you do that, the handlebars, once you hear it click, now they're locked. So kind of there's an auto lock, once you turn off the bike. I think that's kind of a cool feature. You can tell they've done some cool things with some of the just the small details here, you know, like putting caps on the screws there. If you are wondering where the USB ports are, right in there. We've got a USB-C and a USB port, so you can charge your phone, and you can just seal that right back up there. But it's cool, it's a nice placement. But the seat is pretty firm, it's pretty hard, but it's comfortable. It's comfortable. After I was riding for about 45 minutes straight at one point today, and yeah, it was pretty comfortable, not too bad. Oh, something that's a cool feature on these things, all of the chassis is cast, so there's no welding or anything like that. It's not, you're not thinking like, oh, this is Chinese, it's kind of crappy put together. This is all cast, so a single swing arm cast together, and then you've got the subframe, and then, you know, the rest is all cast. It's not welded or anything like that, so that's kind of nice. A lot of people are saying online that they don't know kind of what the reliability of these things are going to be, just because, you know, of course, this is brand new. This isn't even on the market yet. This is going up on the European market, at least in the Portugal. It'll be for sale next week. So I'm testing this before these things are even for sale, and which is pretty cool. Let's go for a ride. I know that's what you guys all want to see. Oh, also very easy to get on the kickstand, or on the center stand. Super easy. I had no problem getting on the kickstand. Views, great day. Oh, this is going to be a problem. So check out this sound. Actually, the sound of the bike. Pretty good for, you know, a lot of these bikes nowadays are trying to stay up on this. Oh, little dog chasing me. What the heck? Hey, buddy. Well, okay. Guess I got a little companion here. Not for long. All right, well, that was interesting little takeoff. That guy came out of the bushes with a fury. Love these roads. Oh, so this is my third day on this bike, and I have to say, it's pretty nimble, guys. I was not expecting it to be this nimble, and yeah, I'm thoroughly surprised at how nimble this thing is. Quick shifter is pretty smooth as long as you are shifting quite aggressively. If you're kind of hitting the throttle pretty good and moving, quick shifter works great. If you're just kind of cruising through town, I've found that it's a little bit hard to use a quick shifter because it really wants those higher revs to shift. But it's not like the Yamaha. I feel like the Yamaha line on their new quick shifters are just amazing. You know, I rode a 2024 I think it was the Tracer 900, and man, that thing, the quick shifter was just unbelievably smooth up and down. Let's see if we can get around this guy. Thank you, he's letting me go. And but yeah, so it's not a Yamaha quick shifter, but man, the price range is completely different. Oh yeah, 21-inch front wheel on this thing, and it's pretty nice actually. I am not a fan of 21-inch front wheels, and this thing is actually pretty nice, much more nimble than I thought it was going to be for a 21. You know, I've got the 19 on the GS, and I much prefer that. You can also see that I'm kind of just got it in 6th gear, and I'm just cruising, guys. Like, this bike's a little bit different in how it's performing, and likes to just kind of plop into that 6th gear and go. But yeah, it works for me. So after 3 days, sorry, there's a lot of wind out here today, and I'm sure you can see I got caught out without my motorcycle boots. I'm pretty, you know, fastidious on how I gear up and everything. Even if I'm just going down the street, I always put my airbag vest on. Like, I'm pretty safety conscious. But today I got caught out without my motorcycle boots, and I'm in tennis shoes, unfortunately. And to top it all off, white tennis shoes. So yeah, I don't recommend that. It's not how I normally ride, but just circumstances when you ride every single day. This, you know, my motorcycle is my main form of transportation. So I dropped my GS off to get a service, and I picked this up and I ended up just not having the right boots, so that's why you see me in some tennis shoes. The actual foot pegs on this are pretty nice. They're larger foot pegs. Really easy to get up to speed, and it's pretty nice to get around the corners and such. The seat is pretty firm, but I could say you could tour on this if you wanted. My bike has the GS comfort seat on there, and I really like it. I rode a GS after riding with the comfort seat, and the GS seat is one of the most comfortable stock seats on the market, but that comfort seat from BMW is just awesome. So I like more of a squishy seat, but to each their own. Some people like a firmer seat, especially, you know, this is geared more towards like that off-road person that wants to do a few trails. They have some videos online of this bike doing some pretty hefty jumps, and it's pretty impressive. Having said that, the suspension is firm, so, you know, of course you can adjust that, but the suspension as it stands is pretty stiff on this bike, which makes it really nice for, you know, really feeling the road. Like if you in the GS and other bikes, you know, if you stiffen up that suspension, that's when you're gonna, you know, feel the corners a lot nicer. If you're really kind of, you know, trying to lean and get a little bit into the corners and feel the road, that stiffer suspension is going to be nicer for you. If you're doing like a long trip on the highway, stiffer suspension is not going to be the best. You're going to want that, you're going to want something a little softer. This doesn't have, to my knowledge, this model doesn't have any other ride modes. Well, it does, actually. I just lied. So it's got E, which is like economy. I'm gonna put something on the screen if when I'm editing this I go back and research and that it does change something of the suspension, but to my knowledge all it does is change the throttle control. So it doesn't have electronic suspension on this thing. It's just changing the, you know, kind of the economy of, you know, how smooth the throttle is, as opposed to a little bit more aggressive throttle for, you know, if you want to be hitting something like this. After 3 days, I haven't really been able to feel much of a difference. It does feel a little bit softer, I guess, you know, on the throttle. And that's one of my complaints. It's kind of like the Super Tenere. Not as bad as the Super Tenere. Like in 2015, the Super Tenere, if you put it in sport mode, you almost, like, and you wanted to, because otherwise you just felt like you didn't have any power, right, to do anything. But then if you put it in sport mode, it felt like it was so jerky on and off the throttle, like just from stop to go. It was super jerky on the throttle, and so, you know, and this kind of feels the same. The throttle's a bit jerky in that sport mode, but you get used to it. There is kind of the on and off, where if you just lightly come on the throttle, super lightly, you'll feel like a wall. And if you just kind of barely touch that wall for a second and then roll on, you know, it's not as jerky. So you just have to get used to it. After 3 days, I got used to it. You can feel a little bit of heat coming off the engine. Not like a KTM, but, you know, those KTMs get hot sometimes. Check this out. I'm gonna get through this corner and get on the straightaway. I didn't like the powered screen on the Triumph Tiger because I felt like it didn't make any sense, right? Because you still kind of had to pull over to get it going. You had to go through some menu options on the screen before you actually got to the setting where, you know, it took like 4 or 5 clicks just to get to the place where you could actually adjust the auto screen or the electric screen. This, boom, 1 click, boom, up, boom, down, up. You know, it's super easy to adjust. It's a 1 button and then up and down, and all the buttons are right here on this control panel, which make it really nice. So I would say that's a huge plus right there. You know, I like that. I would rotate this whole cluster up. I kind of hit this brights quite often, so I have a little bit of trouble with that. That's a bit of a, you know, I hit these brights a lot. And the blinkers are right next to the hazards. And I found myself several times over the last couple days riding this that I would hit the hazards while I was doing my blinkers, and I would be going down the road and I'd notice that my hazards are on. So the TFT really have no problem with this. They've got this nice shade over the top. I'm guessing because they noticed that there's a lot of glare on this. So, because there is, admittedly, you know, you can see, ooh, this guy. I think he's supposed to stop a little bit further back. I think this is like a stop here, but whatever. All right, let's... All right, this is in kilometers, so you saw it gets up there pretty quick. Like, it's a 700, you know? 703, sorry. 703F is what this is called. And then, of course, if you look at the specs, 699 cc's, just like everything else that says it's 1,000 and this 999 or 998, whatever. I think the biggest thing that surprised me on this bike is how smooth it rides. I mean, it pitches back and forth so effortlessly for what I thought it was going to be. You know, it's not a GS, it's not a Yamaha, but look, in this price point with these features that you're getting on this bike, you know, I think it really has a niche market that it could sit in. Can't get around that GS. I've always wanted a GS since I was a kid, and it's been my dream motorcycle my whole life, and I love it. It is amazing. So, but I will say, for maybe you're out there and this is right in your price point, and it's got a lot of the features that you really want, and a GS is not going to be something you're going to get into. This could be a great option for you. Now, what would I do? Okay, if it was me, I would go out, if I had $8 grand to spend, and I would buy probably a Yamaha or a Honda, a few years older, and get into one of those. That's what I would do, okay? But, you know, say you want a brand new bike. You want something that's been untouched by other people, and you want something with the TFT, and you really don't want to forego any of those features. You know, they've got blinkers in the mirrors. I mean, probably for that price point, you know, if you wanted a TFT, for instance, I think KTM does TFT. Ooh, red light. Great time to test the brakes on this thing. Pretty good brakes. Brakes pretty good. You know, if you wanted a TFT on like a KTM, you'd probably have to go to, I don't know, you'd probably have to get like a 300 or something for $8 grand. I don't know. You know, you guys can correct me on that. I'm just saying that. I'm not actually going off real numbers, but just to let you know, if you wanted a name brand with a TFT, they're probably going to have to go way down and sacrifice a lot of engine power to compensate for that TFT. And guys, my numbers could be off. I know you guys might slaughter me in the comments about, well, you can get a KTM for $6 grand with a TFT. Okay, whatever. You get my point, right? You're gonna have to sacrifice somewhere if you go to a name brand and you want a TFT. I know, like the Super Tenere, or not the Super Tenere, the Tenere 700, which I am not a fan of. I've ridden some of those, and I just don't like how the front end feels. It feels a bit weird to me, the posture of the bike. It's got that 21-inch front wheel, and then you're kind of up and shorter handlebars. Not my favorite. Yeah, so look, the things I like about this bike, sounds great if you're a sound guy, you like those louder bikes. On the highway, it could get annoying after a while. You know, if you're doing a big touring trip, that loud noise does get to you. I mean, my bike's not as loud, and it still gets to me after a while. I do like that you're getting so many features, and I really like how it rides. It rides pretty good, you know. I'm really surprised. For what I thought it was going to be, I'm very surprised. I love the tank. I love the cockpit as well. Cockpit, thumbs up. TFT looks great. Screen, decent looking. This area right here looks awesome. Because of the front of the bike and the shape, I don't think that I have a lot of problems with wind coming up through where the forks are. Just, you know, like on the Africa Twin, the Tenere has like no fairing. But you know, even this Super Tenere, also, you know, you need some kind of cover here to really cover the wind coming up through there. I've been going some pretty good speeds over the last few days, and I don't have any problems. So you guys tell me down in the comments, you know, what do you think? What do you think about Chinese motorcycles? You know, electric vehicles from China have been kind of coming into the market, and over here in Europe, a lot of people are buying them. Over here in Europe, a lot of people are buying these motorcycles, and it's a really big deal. Like, a lot of people are jumping into the Chinese motorcycles because it's more cost effective for them. And in Europe, motorcycles are a much bigger deal than in the States. Everybody loves Harleys, but I would say the majority of people in the States are not using their motorcycles for everyday drivers. You know, motorcycles like something you have in addition to a car. And over here, people are using them as everyday drivers. So, you know, it's a lifestyle. Like, over in the States, if I ever drop my motorcycle off for an oil change, it'd be there for a week at least. At least. Maybe 2. At the Harley dealership. Or at even at a local guy. Local guy was taking me longer, you know. But here, I drop my motorcycle off for a service. I can pick it up same day. Same day, guys. Or, you know, if they need to do a little bit extra work, they're like, hey, you know, pick it up tomorrow. No big deal. It's just crazy. The motorcycle industry over here is way different than the States. I would say that they're quite a bit forward on the motorcycle stuff. And, you know, even cars are much nicer than motorcycles over here. They let you get by. You don't have to, you know, they let you split lanes. And cars just move out of the way. You can see in some of my other videos, I talk about it. I've got a video on that specifically. And you can see them, you know, just moving out of the way. Let's check no one's behind me. Let's see the dive on the front. Okay. All right. That's the dive that you're going to get when you hit the brakes real hard on this thing. You know, no big deal. It is what it is. I'm coming from the GS where I've got that shock in the front that really absorbs a lot of that. These little villages are so fun to just kind of cruise through. If you're wanting to do a motorcycle adventure, man, Portugal and Spain, some of the best riding. A lot of the motorcycle companies come over here and do through the south of Portugal and south of Spain. They do their, you know, their launch, their press releases and stuff. They do it over here because the roads are just unbelievable. You know, I think time will tell if the quality can stand the test of time. I think that's the big question everybody's got, and of course I can't cover that in this video because I've only been on it for 3 days. But, you know, so far so good. The guy that asked me to do the video on this bike, so when I'm doing this video, the bike is not for sale yet. It's not on the market, but it will be by the time the video comes out. So when this video comes out, you'll be able to buy these. The guy that asked me to do the review, he's one of my mechanics and just a super nice guy. Let's go down over here. Super nice guy and a super honest mechanic. So he rides a KTM 1290, okay? He's one of those guys. I mean, that is one of the most beautiful bikes on the market, in my opinion. Love that thing. But yeah, so, you know, we were talking and we were like, hey, for us, this is not going to be the bike, but it serves a very particular clientele at a very particular price point. And that's that. And we both agreed that for the money, this thing handles so nicely. So check it out. See if it's something you're interested in. If you're over here in Europe, in the States, don't even worry about it because they're not for sale in the States. You can't get them. They have some dealers in Canada, Australia, and then of course through Europe. Probably some other countries as well, but I don't know. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I really enjoy just getting out and trying different bikes. So when he asked me to do this, and he, just so you know, he did not pay me to do this video, not training any services. He offered, and I just said, no, I'm gonna do it for fun and just have a good time. And And look, super honest, Fuso Motorcycles in Venda do Pinheiro. If you guys are looking for like an honest mechanic, which is hard to find, you know, this guy's super honest. He's gonna repair what's needed on your bike. He's not gonna do a bunch of stuff that you don't need. And the price point's great. They do it in a timely manner. So if you guys are looking for a good mechanic, even if you're in Lisbon and you want a good mechanic, I'd say it's worth going out to Venda. I've got a bunch of friends. One guy that's been going to him for like 10 years plus, and he recommended this guy to me, and ever since then, you know, I've been going to him. My bike was under warranty with BMW for a while, so I was doing BMW service just because I had to do that to keep the warranty. But you know, this guy's amazing, so I would definitely recommend Fuso Motos if you guys are in the area and you're looking for a good bike mechanic. They do sell the Zontes bikes as well, and they sell some other gear also in their shop. They've got a shop in Venda do Pinheiro, and the mechanic shop is at a different location not too far from that store. So, you know, give them a call. Take your bike over there, and they'll take good care of you. Alright guys, so tell me down in the comments what you think. Is this a go or a no-go? I know some people would say, you know, it's not for me. And that's totally fine. You know, no big deal. The Zontes brand's been pretty big around here in Portugal, so it was worth giving it a check. And it was nice to give it a try, have a little bit of fun on it, try a new bike. After 3 days, just wanted to give you guys a little assessment of what I thought, because why not? Oh, got a car in the way here. Guys, this is Fuso Motos. They've got a storefront over here in Venda do Pinheiro as well. Great guys. Só bocadinho. Okay. This guy's gonna... But yeah, Fuso Motos, like, great guys. If you need some work done on your bike, this guy has serviced both of my motorcycles and done an excellent job. Super honest guy as well. So they do sell the Zontes. So if you do have any troubles on anything, definitely come here and you're in the area. Obrigado. There we go. Right into the pocket. There we go. Very nice. Shut this thing off. I did want to show you what the hazards look like. It's pretty cool that they've got the blinkers. You can see the front of that bike and the blinkers on the sides. I think that's a great safety feature and just looks cool. So very nice feature there. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I've got some more content hopefully going to be coming out soon. Really excited to be making some more videos for you guys. The Zontes actually comes in a really cool other color wave. I'm going to show it to you now. And if you guys are interested, I did want to give a big shout out to Fuso Motos for letting me test out this bike. They're really great. Also, if you like the video, give a thumbs up, a like, and throw something down in the comments. It helps the algorithm a ton. So if you can do that for me, I would really appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me through all of the years and all the motorcycle videos, and now the new season with the baby. Of course, as always, ride safe, and we will see you on the pavement.